You hear it before you understand it. Not a scream, not a crash, something deeper, a low, unnatural groan rolling beneath the stones under your feet, as if the whole city has turned in its sleep and is about to wake angry. You stop in the middle of the street. The market noise still moves around you. Vendors call out, sandals scrape over dust, a cartwheel rattles past. But beneath it all, that sound stays there, heavy, alive, wrong. You look up, the sky is too bright, yet the light feels sick. Birds that filled the rooftops a moment ago are suddenly gone. A dog pulls so hard against its rope that its neck jerks. Somewhere nearby, clay cups tumble from a table and shatter. Nobody laughs, nobody bends to clean them. You feel it then, not fear yet. Something colder, something that starts in your stomach and climbs slowly into your chest. The air smells strange, like hot metal and dry earth cracked open. The breeze has stopped. Even the city seems to be listening. You take one step, then another, slow, careful. Every doorway looks darker than it should. Every face seems distracted, as if everyone is pretending not to notice what they already feel. Then the ground trembles again, harder this time, and in that single terrible moment, you know this is not the kind of day that ends normally. This is the kind of day a city never forgets, if anyone is left to remember it. You try to keep walking, because that is what people do when they are afraid to admit something is wrong. You pass baskets of fruit, fresh bread, oil jars stacked against a wall. You hear children running through an alley, laughing too loudly, unaware of how fragile sound can be. Somewhere above you, a window opens. Someone shakes a cloth into the street, and dust drifts through the sun like golden ash. For a moment, the city looks untouched. Beautiful even, warm stone glowing under the afternoon light, painted walls, water spilling from a fountain into a shallow basin, a woman arranging flowers beside her. Doorway, a man arguing over coins with forced irritation, as if routine itself could protect him. But the unease keeps spreading. You notice how often people look toward the mountain, too quickly, then away. You notice how animals sense what people refuse to name. Horses stamp and jerk their heads. Pigeons do not land. The smell grows stronger now, bitter and smoky, slipping into your throat with every breath. A fine dust settles across your shoulders. You brush it off. More falls. A merchant mutters that this has happened before. Not like this, perhaps, but enough to make excuses feel possible, enough to make denial sound practical. So you keep moving with the crowd, though the crowd no longer flows like a crowd. It hesitates, clusters, pauses, watches. The sunlight dims a little, not enough for panic, just enough to make every color feel drained, as if the day itself is quietly stepping back from what is coming. And somewhere inside you, a thought forms with terrifying clarity. You should leave now, but you don't. The first scream tears through the street so suddenly that your whole body locks. Heads turn. Someone drops a basket. Fruit rolls over the stones and bursts under rushing feet. You look toward the far end of the road and see people pointing upward with trembling hands. The top of the mountain is no longer still. A dark column rises into the sky, vast and violent, climbing higher than anything your eyes have ever followed. It does not look like smoke from a fire. It looks like the sky itself has been pierced and something inside it is pouring out. Black, brown, red at its core, thick as a living pillar, it mushrooms above the city and spreads like a curse. The sound arrives a second later, a deep, cracking roar like mountains grinding their teeth. Windows shake, roof tiles jump. A statue in a courtyard collapses and explodes across the pavement. You stumble against a wall as the tremor throws the street sideways beneath you. People are running now. Not. Walking faster, running, mothers grabbing children, old men shoved aside, merchants abandoning tables. Someone cries a name again and again until the name becomes pure panic. Dust begins to fall harder, not drifting now, but dropping in soft grey bursts that sting your eyes and cling to sweat on your skin. You pull cloth over your mouth. It barely helps. The air is thicker already. You hear prayers, orders, denials. Someone swears the worst will pass. Someone else screams that the harbour is the only chance. Nobody knows which lie to trust. Then a stone, hot and black, slams into the street a few paces ahead of you. Then another. The city does not feel permanent anymore. It feels breakable. And you are standing inside the crack. You run because the sky has started coming down. Ash pours over the rooftops in waves, soft at first, then relentless, coating hair, skin, doorways, steps. It gathers on your shoulders, on your tongue, between your teeth. Each breath tastes like burnt rock. Each blink grinds your eyes raw. The sunlight is fading, not gently like evening, but violently, as if someone is dragging a black curtain across the world. The street becomes harder to see with every second. People crash into you from all directions. Some carry bundles, some carry children, some carry nothing, because terror has already stripped life down to what the arms can hold. You hear coughing everywhere now, ragged and desperate. A man falls to his knees beside a wall and does not get back up. His hands claw at the dust as though the ground itself is drowning him. Roof tiles begin to snap under the weight, a sharp crack above, then a crash behind you. You turn and see part of a house fold inward in a cloud of grey, swallowing the doorway where someone had just been standing. The scream lasts only a second. You want to look away. You cannot. Lightning flickers inside the ash cloud above the city, silent for an instant, illuminating everything in ghostly flashes. Faces appear and disappear. Statues look alive, alleyways look like open graves. The fountain water is no longer clear. It runs muddy with soot. You keep moving, hand against the wall, half blind now. The city you knew an hour ago is gone, not destroyed yet. Worse than that, transforming, becoming unfamiliar while you are still inside it. Every landmark disappears under grey. Every street looks the same. Every breath costs more than the last. And the dark keeps falling. Not from night, from above. You try to reach the gate, but the streets no longer lead where they should. Crowds jam the intersections. Carts overturned in panic block the narrow ways. Broken wood, shattered pottery, fallen stone, bodies face down in ash. The city has become a maze made of fear, and every turn steals time you no longer have. The ground shudders again, harder than before. A wall splits down the middle with a sound like cloth ripping across the sky. Dust blasts outward and blinds you. You raise your arm over your face and keep moving through the storm of fragments. Your lungs burn, your throat feels flayed open. Even the air has become an enemy now, hot and dry and full of death. Someone grabs your wrist. For one stunned second, you think rescue, hope. But it is only desperation wearing another face, wide eyes, ash-covered skin, lips cracked white. The grip tightens as if you are the last solid thing in a world coming apart. Then the crowd surges between you, and that hand is gone. You never see that face again. A child is crying somewhere nearby, thin and piercing, but the sound keeps vanishing under the thunder from the mountain. The darkness thickens until torches appear in shaking hands, tiny flames fighting a sky too large to challenge. Their light reveals the horror for only a few steps at a time. A mule crushed beneath beams, a doorway buried, footprints that begin and end suddenly. You understand something terrible then. You are not escaping a disaster. You are inside a machine closing. Around you, every street narrows, every breath shortens, every second turns against you. The city was built for life, for trade, for noise, for routine. Now it is holding you in place while the end approaches, and there is nowhere left that feels safe. The stones start falling faster, not pebbles, not dust. Heavy chunks of burning rock slam into roofs, courtyards, shoulders, skulls. The impacts echo through the city like war drums. One crashes through a balcony above you and explodes in sparks and debris. Heat washes over your face so fiercely that your skin tightens. The air itself seems to glow with hidden fire. You duck beneath an archway with strangers pressed close on both sides. Nobody speaks. You hear only breathing, harsh and uneven, and the constant bombardment outside. Every impact makes the masonry above you tremble. Tiny fragments shower down into your hair. You look out from the shelter and see the street through a veil of ash and orange flashes. Buildings burn where the stones have struck. Shadows run through smoke, then vanish. The mountain does not look distant anymore. It feels present, dominant, as if the entire horizon has stood up and come for you. A woman beside you holds something wrapped in cloth against her chest. Too carefully, too still, she rocks without sound. Her eyes are open, but nothing inside them is moving now. The sight hits harder than the falling stone, harder than the noise, harder than the heat. Because this is the moment the truth finally enters you. This is not chaos that can be survived by staying calm. This is not danger that passes if you wait long enough. This is erasure. Another violent tremor shakes the archway. Part of the ceiling cracks. Dust pours down. People lunge back into the open street, choosing the falling fire over being buried alive. And you go with them, because the city is no longer dying slowly. It is being executed in pieces, and the sentence is almost complete. You lose the sky completely. Darkness swallows everything so fast it feels unreal, as if your eyes have failed all at once. Noon becomes deeper than midnight. You cannot see the mountain. You cannot see the rooftops. At times you cannot even see your own hand unless lightning tears through the ash cloud and reveals the world in a single brutal flash. So you move by touch, wall, corner, doorframe, broken cart, a body. You jerk your hand back too late, heart slamming against your ribs. The ground is no longer flat under your feet. Ash has piled thick enough to drag at your ankles. Each step sinks, each breath rasps. The cloth over your mouth is wet now, heavy with soot and spit and panic. People call out names into the dark. The names come back empty. A child wails until coughing cuts the sound in half. Someone nearby is praying so fast the words collapse into one another. Someone else is pounding on a locked door from the outside, begging to be let in, long after the people inside have stopped answering. You keep moving because stopping feels like surrender. Then lightning flashes again. For one heartbeat, the city appears in white terror, statues buried to the waist, rooflines sagging, faces turned upward under blankets of ash, hands covering mouths, eyes enormous. The street looks like the end of the world caught in a single frozen image. Then darkness returns, thicker than before. You feel smaller than you have ever felt. Not because of the mountain, not because of death, because the city that once felt solid, eternal, crowded with purpose, has become blind and helpless, and so have you. You understand now how quickly a world can vanish, not over centuries, not over generations, in a day, in an hour, in a breath you may already have taken for granted. You find shelter in the remains of a house that no longer feels like a house. The doorway leans. One wall is cracked wide open. Ash has drifted across the floor where people once ate, argued, laughed, slept. A lamp lies shattered beside a painted wall. A loaf of bread sits on a table under a grey layer of dust, as if someone meant to return in a moment. That almost breaks you. Not the screaming outside, not the burning stones, not even the darkness. This room, this stillness, this proof that ordinary life was here a few breaths ago and is now being smothered forever. You imagine footsteps that will never come back through that doorway. A conversation cut in half. Water left warming over a fire that no longer matters. Letters unfinished. Promises delayed until tomorrow. Tomorrow, the cruelest word in a dying city. You touch the table, and your fingers leave marks in the ash. The silence inside the room feels sacred and unbearable. It forces you to see the disaster clearly, not as noise or survival, but as loss. Entire lives being sealed in place, memories trapped under heat and stone, love, routine, anger, hunger, plans, all of it collapsing into one final layer of grey. Outside, the city keeps roaring. Inside, time feels suspended, and for the first time, fear changes shape. It is no longer only fear of dying, it is fear of disappearing. Fear that everything you touched, knew, loved, or passed without noticing can be wiped out so completely that one day the silence will speak louder than the people ever did. Then the house trembles again, the wall groans, and you understand with terrible certainty that the city is about to take its final breath. The roar becomes unbearable, not louder in the way of sound alone, but total. It enters the ground, the walls, your bones, your teeth. You rush back into the street and see it coming through the dark, a rolling wall of heat, ash, gas, and death, swallowing everything in its path. Not flame in the shape you know. Something worse. A moving darkness with fire hidden inside it. People run, though there is nowhere left to run. The force hits the far end of the street first. Doors vanish, roofs burst, shadows are erased before your eyes. The air turns impossibly hot, so hot your skin screams before your voice can. Every instinct tells you to breathe, but breathing feels like dragging a furnace into your chest. You fall. The ground is burning beneath the ash. Your hands sink into it, your ears ring. The world narrows to fragments, a cry cut short, a wall folding inward, the taste of sulphur, the smell of scorched wood and flesh and dust. The city is no longer collapsing piece by piece. It is being consumed in one merciless sweep. You try to rise, you try to move. But terror has become something heavier than your body. The darkness around you glows red at its edges. Wind slams through the street with the force of a giant closing its fist. And then comes the realization that hurts more than the heat. This is the last moment, not just for you, for the city, for every voice inside it, for every footprint not yet buried. A place full of life a few hours ago is becoming a tomb while you watch, and there is nothing in the world powerful enough to stop it. Then somehow, after all the roaring, all the collapse, all the screaming, silence begins. Not peace, never peace. A dead, heavy silence, the kind that settles only after something has been taken forever. You do not see the city as it was anymore. You see shapes beneath ash, roofs turned to mounds, streets erased into ridges and shadows, doorways sealed, color gone, sound gone, movement gone. The air is still thick, still hot, still poisoned with what just happened, yet the worst part is the quiet. That terrible quiet that makes absence feel physical. You realize that this place, once crowded with footsteps and bargaining and laughter and ordinary complaints, has been swallowed whole. Not ruined in a way that invites rebuilding. Hidden, buried, pressed beneath time before time has even had the chance to pass. And the cruelest thought of all settles into you. This morning, the city believed it had another day. You imagine all the unfinished things left behind. Meals waiting, doors unlatched, names unspoken one last time. You imagine how easily life convinces you that tomorrow belongs to you, right until the moment it doesn't. That is what stays with you. Not only the destruction, the nearness of it, the speed of it, the fact that the end arrived while the day still looked ordinary. So when you leave this story, you do not leave untouched. You leave hearing that first groan under the stones. You leave feeling ash on your skin. You leave knowing how fast forever can happen. Comment, I would survive, or would you? Would.